Joe Rogan just lit up the internet with one explosive comment that has everybody looking sideways. He's calling out the strange silence surrounding Ellen DeGeneres, and this time, it's not about her old workplace drama. Ever since Diddy's scandal broke wide open, Rogan's been wondering why Ellen's name keeps popping up. And yet, no one seems to be asking the real questions. When Diddy got hit with those serious charges, the internet went wild. Old clips started resurfacing, and people began digging up every interview, every party story, and every celebrity who once bragged about being at his so-called legendary parties. Guess whose name and face kept showing up in those videos? Yep, Ellen DeGeneres. People found tons of clips of Ellen and Diddy looking all friendly on her show, cracking jokes about those infamous parties that, in hindsight, sound way too suspicious.
About Diddy and his oil parties with these 18-year-olds, like, do I think it's good? No. I want to beat up their dad, but other than that, I don't really give a shit.
The laughs back then, not so funny now. And Joe Rogan just said what everyone else was too scared to. There's a reason nobody's pressing Ellen about her ties to Diddy, even though she had him on her show multiple times. And they joked about things that are now part of criminal investigations. That silence, it's deafening. But this rabbit hole goes deeper than most people think. Remember when Ellen's show got canceled in 2022 after the whole toxic workplace scandal? Turns out that might have just been the tip of the iceberg. After her show fell apart, Ellen reportedly left the US right after the 2024 election results, moving to the UK and supposedly saying she was never coming back. Really? That timing is wild.
All right, we're back with Sean Diddy Combs. Is it Diddy today? Because sometimes you're Puffy and sometimes you're Diddy. Or sometimes you're Daddy. What are you today?
I'm so confused today with it, as long as you say it in a nice way.
Before we even dive into what Joe Rogan revealed, let's rewind to why Ellen's name even matters again. Back in 2020, BuzzFeed News dropped a bombshell that shook her entire brand to the core. The Be Kind Queen? Turns out, behind the scenes, her show was allegedly a nightmare to work on.
I guess Diddy just kept people at his houses because he's got multiple houses and he's just had freak out part. Look at him, look at Saucy Santana, go Saucy.
Yeah, no, Saucy's crazy. Have you seen Saucy?
Stories of racism, intimidation, people being fired for taking bereavement days, and bosses making life miserable. Former employees didn't hold back. One even said, "That Be Kind stuff only happens when the cameras are on. It's all for show." The scandal got so messy that 3 of her top producers were fired, and Ellen had to issue a public apology on air. But here's the twist. Most people blame the producers, not her. She somehow dodged the worst of it, saying she didn't know what was going on. How does the woman whose name is literally on the show not know what's happening behind her own stage doors? The show limped along for 2 more seasons before finally ending in 2022. Ellen claimed she stopped because it wasn't challenging anymore. But everyone knew the truth. Her reputation was in shambles. And now, years later, Joe Rogan is connecting dots that nobody wants to talk about. Why was Ellen joking about Diddy's wild parties? The same ones now under criminal investigation. Why is she staying so quiet while other celebs get dragged into the spotlight? Something isn't adding up, and Rogan just blew the lid off the whole thing. So, what exactly did Joe Rogan say that got everyone talking? On his podcast, he straight up questioned how so many celebrities could attend Diddy's parties for years and somehow claim they didn't know what was happening. Rogan's voice carried that mix of disbelief and curiosity that made people stop scrolling and start thinking. He said the part out loud that Hollywood avoids, and Ellen DeGeneres was at the center of his point. He reminded listeners that Ellen wasn't just another guest in Diddy's orbit. She was friends with him, someone who had him on her show several times.
You may have heard this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
And each time, they joked about his legendary parties like it was some running gag on national TV. Rogan said it's wild that people laughed at these stories for so long, even though they now sound like clues to something much darker. In one resurfaced interview from 2018, Diddy told Ellen, "I invite you to all my parties, but you just haven't seemed to show up." Then he added that his parties start at 9:30 p.m., but the real parties, the different type of parties, start at midnight on the top 2 floors. Ellen laughed and said, "Oh no, I know about them." Wait, what exactly did she know? That one line hit differently in 2025. Fans online couldn't believe that moment had been ignored for so long. Now those same clips are going viral again. And everyone's asking the same thing. If Ellen knew about those parties, even jokingly, why hasn't she said a single word since Diddy's arrest? Rogan didn't accuse anyone of crimes, but he did say the silence is suspicious. If someone's name keeps coming up in connection to a scandal and they've gone radio silent, that's a red flag. Especially when the same person once built an empire on being open, honest, and kind. Then Rogan dropped another detail that hit hard. He pointed out that Ellen had Diddy on her show at least 3 times that we know of. Each time they giggled about those legendary parties. Even back in 2002, when Diddy joked on Conan O'Brien's show about needing locks on the doors for his parties, people laughed. But now, those words don't sound funny anymore, and they sound like warnings. After Diddy's arrest in 2024, those old Ellen interviews flooded the internet again. People began putting together timelines, comparing Ellen's words, Diddy's jokes.
I don't have any real personal beef with Diddy, but it's got to go down. The bits are there. I'm a gold miner. I just found some gold.
And the strange timing of her disappearing act from Hollywood. Fans found a tweet from 2016 where Ellen called Diddy Cuddle McSnuggle stuff, and that made people question just how close they really were. Then came that awkward moment when paparazzi confronted Ellen after Diddy's arrest. They asked her point blank about the allegations, and she completely dodged the question. Her nervous laugh, her tense smile, it was all caught on camera. People online said her body language said it all.
Just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Joe Rogan's take, simple but powerful. If you were close enough to Diddy to joke about those midnight parties on national TV, then you should be willing to speak up now that the truth's coming out. Staying quiet isn't innocence, it's avoidance. And the more people replay those old clips, the stranger Ellen's silence feels. The woman who once had a joke for every situation suddenly has nothing to say when things get real. Joe Rogan didn't just call her out. He cracked open a conversation Hollywood's been too scared to touch. Now here's where things start getting real messy. Remember that toxic workplace scandal that blew up Ellen's image in 2020? Turns out, Joe Rogan's comments made people look at that whole situation in a brand new light. Because when you step back, the pattern between Diddy's alleged power control behavior and Ellen's behind-the-scenes reputation looks eerily similar. According to new reports and old employee interviews, Ellen didn't just create a tent set. She allegedly built an environment where people were scared to speak up. Doesn't that sound familiar? That's exactly what's being said about Diddy's circle.
I do feel like you may not do that. You're neat though, right? I would imagine your closet is color coordinated. Everything is hung in a certain,
yes.
Right? So you're neat, it's just that you're not the person that puts it back. All right.
Everyone knew things were off, but nobody dared to talk because of power and fear. One former cameraman described it perfectly. He called it the Ellen gaze, saying it felt like a queen scanning her castle, ready to pick her next victim. Another insider claimed Ellen banned Gordon Ramsay from her show for nearly 8 years just because he joked about her cooking during a segment.
Diddy party, but there's a camera that swings around and they go, hey yo, oh, Odell Beckham, and you see Justin Bieber's head come up from his crotch and he looks in the camera and he's very confused. It's a really disturbing video.
At that time, Puff was the biggest guy in the world. You couldn't even get in his parties. And he was throwing a party, he said, yo, Playboy, this party's $1.5 million. I said, for what? I mean, what do you say that? It costs $1.5 million to throw this party. I said, Puff, I love it. The party's amazing. Yes, the mayor is here and everything. I said, but that's too much money. I said, you come to my place in LA? I'll throw you a party for $400. That will rival this party. And he got a little mad. He was like, yo, no, I'm known for this. Don't.
That's not a boss with thick skin. That's someone obsessed with control. When you put all this together, it's wild how many similarities show up between Ellen's workplace and the environment surrounding Diddy's infamous parties. In both cases, people were allegedly walking on eggshells, trying not to upset the powerful one in the room. Rogan hinted that maybe that's why Ellen's silence isn't just about guilt. It's about fear of what might come out if people start digging deeper. Let's not forget the way Ellen used to grill other celebs about their controversies, acting all morally righteous on camera. Remember in 2009, right after the Chris Brown and Rihanna incident, Ellen questioned Diddy about why he let Chris Brown use his house. She looked disgusted, saying, I don't want any girl thinking it's okay to go back to a guy who hit her. That was Ellen's good girl image at full volume. But now, the tables have turned. Her own staff accused her of verbal abuse, intimidation, and hypocrisy, and the timeline is suspicious too.
This leads me to the perfect thing, because I would like you to clear something up. There's a lot of talk going on with Chris Brown being at your place in Miami, and you arranging Chris and Rihanna getting back together.
And it's my house, and I'm allowed to give my house to whoever I want to give my house to.
Sure.
That's number one. Number two is that I'm the type of person that I don't cast a stone or cast a judgment on anybody. And so if a friend or friends ask me for a favor, then I'm going to be there for a favor.
In November 2024, right after Trump won the election, Ellen and her wife Portia sold their Montecito mansion and moved to rural England, just like that. Sources said they were never coming back to the US. Ellen blamed it on politics, but people noticed something fishy, because at that same time, Diddy's legal troubles were heating up fast, and more celebrity names were getting pulled into the mix. That timing doesn't look like coincidence anymore. It looks like a getaway plan. People online started whispering, did Ellen see something she shouldn't have? Did she hear stories that made her pack her bags before anyone could start asking questions?
All right, well, let me catch up on what's been going on with me since you saw me last. I decided to take up gardening. I got chickens. Let me see what else I can tell you about that's been going on. Oh, yeah, I got kicked out of show business.
Nobody's saying she did anything illegal, but her sudden exit from the country, right when the Diddy investigation exploded, that's got people thinking. Rogan didn't accuse her of crimes, but he sure as hell questioned why Hollywood keeps giving her a pass. The same industry that roasted Ashton Kutcher and other celebs for their involvement in shady situations seems to be protecting Ellen, and now fans are wondering who's covering for her and why. Ellen's image might be retired talk show host, but Joe Rogan just made sure her name is back in the headlines. And this time, it's not for dancing with celebrities, it's for possibly knowing too much about Hollywood's darkest secrets. All right. Now we're entering the part of the story that really connects the dots, and it's wild. Once people started noticing the parallels between Ellen's world and Diddy's, the internet basically turned into a full-blown investigation zone. Every clip, every quote, every suspicious silence started getting dissected. And what came out is honestly shocking. Over the years, tons of celebrities have praised Diddy's parties like they were some Hollywood status badge. LeBron James once said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party," and Ben Stiller even joked about it in a Bad Boy music video. But Ellen, she wasn't just another star laughing about it. She was one of the few who openly admitted she knew about the different types of parties Diddy threw. That's not a casual comment, that's acknowledgement. And it's not just what she said, but how she acted. On her show, she'd tease Diddy about his nightlife, giggle, and then move right on like it was nothing. But looking back, it feels like she was trying too hard to seem in on the joke, like someone who knew more than she wanted to admit. Then there's the double standard that fans can't stop talking about. Ellen once grilled Diddy about letting Chris Brown stay at his house after the Rihanna situation, saying she didn't want women to think it was okay to go back to abusive partners. That moment made her look like a moral voice of Hollywood. But years later, her own staff accused her of verbal abuse, intimidation, and creating a toxic, fear-driven set. The same woman calling out others for bad behavior was allegedly running a workplace full of it.
Look at that the temple, and then look at the. Let me see Ellen's background. What? Oh, similar. That looks like a building, though. Like
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Is that a building in it?
The hypocrisy is off the charts. Now here's where it gets even more suspicious. After Diddy's arrest in late 2024, Ellen and Portia made their big move to England. But get this, sources close to them claimed that the couple was done with America and wanted privacy. Except that move happened right when Diddy's trial was ramping up and more celebrity names were quietly showing up in court documents. Too perfect to be coincidence, right? People on social media started connecting the timeline. Ellen's show ends, her reputation tanks, Diddy's charges blow up, and boom, she sells her mansion and flees the country. It's like she saw the storm coming and didn't want to get caught in the rain. And the theories didn't stop there. By mid-2025, rumors exploded online claiming Ellen had an arrest warrant connected to her former DJ, Stephen Twitch Boss, who passed away in 2022. Now that rumor was officially debunked, but it raised a major question. Why would people even believe something like that? It shows how much distrust still surrounds her name. Some fans even suggested that Twitch knew too much about what went down behind the scenes. both at Ellen's show and maybe in Hollywood's darker corners. Nobody's proven anything, but that idea spread like wildfire. It's like people can't help but feel there's more to Ellen's story than the world's been told. And when she released her Netflix special for your approval in 2024, she tried to joke about being kicked out of show business. She laughed it off, saying the headline was, "The Be Kind Girl Wasn't Kind." But behind that joke was a bitterness you could feel through the screen. She said, "People either love you and idolize you or they hate you, and those people somehow are louder." It didn't sound like forgiveness. It sounded like frustration. The once loved talk show host who built her empire on kindness now sounds more like someone angry at being exposed. And Joe Rogan wasn't about to let that slide without calling it out. By the time 2025 rolled around, Ellen DeGeneres wasn't just avoiding the spotlight, she was buried under it. Every move she made was getting picked apart, and Joe Rogan's comments poured gasoline on a fire that was already raging. People weren't just talking about Diddy anymore. They were talking about the system that protects people like Ellen. Then came that wild moment in May 2025, when NFL star Aaron Rodgers went on Joe Rogan's podcast and compared Ellen's old studio set to Epstein Island. Yeah, he actually said that. Rogan quickly shut it down, saying it looked like some random LA architecture. But still, the fact that anyone even made that comparison shows how far Ellen's image has fallen. People are literally drawing lines between her and some of the darkest names in modern history.
Is that going to be a new thing? Are you going to try to be early?
Yes, I'm trying to be early.
Are you going to be early for my party?
Yes, I am. No.
No.
You know I have to arrive fashionably late.
All right. Not too late, though.
Not too late?
Not too late, please.
What time would you like me there?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But not too late, because, you know, once you get there, the party really starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how deep the suspicion runs. Online, it's chaos. Social media is flooded with side-by-side photos, old clips, and Ellen exposed threads that get millions of views overnight. One user tweeted, "Ellen knew about those parties, and now she's living her best life in England while Diddy's facing life in prison. Make it make sense." Another post blew up saying, "Joe Rogan is the only one brave enough to say what we're all thinking. Why is Ellen getting a pass when Ashton Kutcher is getting roasted?" And honestly, that's a fair question. When Ashton and Mila faced backlash for writing those letters in defense of Danny Masterson, they got shredded online. But Ellen, the same woman who laughed about Diddy's late night parties on national TV, she's out riding horses in the countryside, pretending like none of this ever happened. Then came a viral clip of Ellen being confronted by paparazzi right outside a coffee shop in London. When asked about Diddy, her smile dropped immediately, and she walked off without a word. That moment said everything. People online replayed it again and again, analyzing her body language like a courtroom expert. The conclusion? She looked scared. And that's exactly what Joe Rogan was talking about. The silence. He said if you were close enough to someone like Diddy to be joking about those kinds of parties, then staying quiet now doesn't look innocent. It looks calculated, especially when everyone else is being questioned or dragged through the mud. But Ellen's not just silent, she's untouchable. Despite all the backlash, she still has power, money, and some serious Hollywood connections. Rogan even mentioned that the reason nobody's pressing her is because she's still got allies in high places. People who can steer headlines, suppress stories, or simply tell media outlets to move on. It's the type of influence that keeps her safe while others fall. Yet even with that power, the court of public opinion is not buying it anymore. The same fans who used to dance to her intro song now see her as part of Hollywood's dark side, a symbol of what happens when power goes unchecked. Rogan's words hit hard because they echo what people have been whispering for years, that the Ellen DeGeneres image was just that, an image. The woman who once preached kindness is now viewed as cold, distant, and maybe even hiding something much bigger than a toxic workplace. The trust she once had from millions of fans, completely shattered. And now, the question everyone's asking is, will Ellen ever face real consequences? Or is this one more Hollywood story where the powerful just walk away while others take the fall? So now we've reached the part where everything comes full circle. Joe Rogan's not just stirring gossip, he's cracking open Hollywood's glass walls. The way he put it on his podcast hit a nerve with everyone watching. Ellen DeGeneres might not be in court, but that doesn't mean she's innocent. Rogan pointed out that at least Diddy is facing the music. He's dealing with trials, lawyers, and investigations. Meanwhile, Ellen got to retire, pack her millions, and ride off into the English countryside like nothing ever happened. The world remembers her as the mean talk show host, but not someone who's actually faced any real accountability. That's what Rogan called out, the double standard. He said that the most suspicious part of all this is the silence. Think about it. This woman built her whole career on talking, on saying whatever was on her mind, on interviewing everyone under the sun. But when her name comes up next to Diddy's, not a single word, no statement, no denial, no explanation, just a quiet exit to another country. That's not normal behavior for someone who has nothing to hide. And the craziest part, even now, Ellen still has influence. She may not be on TV, but she's got Hollywood friends, producers, and media allies who won't dare question her. That's the power Rogan was talking about. That invisible shield celebrities build around themselves. But with social media watching every move, that shield's cracking fast. The internet's not letting this go. Fans, reporters, and online sleuths keep digging deeper into Ellen's old interviews, her timing, and her connections. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. Ellen built her brand on being kind, but when the truth started catching up, she ran. Another user added, Joe Rogan's just saying what the media's too scared to say. Ellen's silence says everything. And honestly, they're right. Ellen's name might never show up officially in any court documents, but in the court of public opinion, she's already been judged. People have stopped believing in her nice image, and that's something money can't fix. Now she's out there in England, posting pictures of sheep and horses, pretending she's at peace, while her legacy back home burns down online. The woman who once ruled daytime TV is now a cautionary tale, proof that fame can flip in an instant when the truth comes knocking. So what's next for Ellen DeGeneres? Probably nothing. Unless someone brings forward real evidence connecting her to Diddy's mess, she'll keep living quietly overseas, untouched, unbothered, and unaccountable. But one thing's for sure, Joe Rogan and the internet aren't done asking questions. They're shining light where Hollywood wants darkness, and the truth always finds its way out eventually. The Be Kind era is over, and the Ellen DeGeneres the world thought they knew, gone for good. So what do you think? Did Ellen know more than she's letting on about Diddy's after-hours lifestyle? Or is her silence just bad timing and bad optics? Let's hear it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Fame Files, share this video with your crew, and drop your thoughts down below. We want to know what you think. Stay tuned, because we've got more stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear. And you already know, Street Fame Files never sleeps. See you on the next one.